Hello, you are welcome again as we are looking at demand and supply A++ setup. You know what A++ setup means is like the type of entry that when you see them or when you see it have a very high probability of playing out. That's just the meaning of A++ entry setup. So what this is saying that when the three entry modules that we have just learned, when all of them are aligned to give a trade signal, okay. And how do you do that? First thing first, starting with top-down analysis, that is identifying the current position of price as it relates to fresh demand or supply zone from the higher to lower time frame. When we talk about top-down analysis, it's all about going from the higher time frame to the lower time frame. And after we have identified the current position of price, whether it's at our demand zone or it's at our supply zone, then when we have identified that on the monthly time frame, that's our higher time frame, then each entry modules starting from first to the last will be applied. So we can now begin to apply our entry modules of direct entry with indicator or without indicator, then the second one change of character, then the third one like continuation or confirmation entry module. All right. So let's look at this graph. What this is representing is like a representation of higher time frame. That's the monthly time frame. Let's assume that we have spot this supply zone on the monthly time frame, that it is fresh and price has already moved there. Is there currently, it has not sold, it has not moved down to come to this point. So in as much price is still at this monthly supply zone, what we have to do on the monthly to add more confidence, now we have identified. Second thing, we are going to use our oscillator, this stochastic oscillator here. We are going to use it. By the time, probably when we look at this overbought zone, at the time that price gets to this monthly supply zone, what then happens, you can see that price is at the overbought zone and the moving average has crossed each other. Okay, so this moving average of the green has crossed the red, the green has crossed the white, indicating that this supply zone on the monthly time frame is going to be holding. That is an indication. So therefore, what we'll do next is to switch now to the corresponding time frame from the monthly, then we'll go now to the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, what we'll normally see is that this is the monthly supply zone, right, that we have just studied, and we are going to be using that because our oscillator has confirmed that price is now at the overbought zone, so price is likely going to sell. Then we'll see that on the weekly, price might be buying, making higher high, higher low, and then by the time they tap into this monthly supply zone, price now come and take out this higher low of the weekly, thereby telling us that the direction of this market has not changed from this weekly buying. It has not changed to this weekly selling. So once the higher low has been taken, which is this one, causing a change in direction, the supply zone that will be at the top there, we are going to take it and sell this trade, and our target will be at the monthly low, because it is the monthly that gave us the signal of this supply zone that has now given us another confirmation on the weekly using our second entry model. Right now, meaning that our entry model 2 is this, and then weekly supply after changing weekly directions. So there's now a change in direction of the weekly. Then there's one particular one that can also add more confluence when we are taking this type of trade. Let's assume that when we have now switched from the monthly to the weekly time frame, by the left hand side, everything we are doing, we are looking from the left to the right. Trading is all about trading from the left to the right. Now looking from the left inside the zone of the monthly time frame, by the time we look at it on the weekly time frame, we'll now see that maybe there's a supply zone there that price has not used already. That is a weekly supply zone that is coming from the monthly supply zone. Before this is a weekly, right? This is a weekly chart. But by the time we look at the left, from where this monthly supply zone is coming, if we now see a weekly supply zone there that is still fresh, that has not been used, that weekly supply zone, by the time that price now come on the weekly and tap into that weekly supply zone and give us our entry, taking out the lower low, causing a change of direction, and then we now have our weekly supply zone there, and then we can now go to it and sell this trade accordingly. So all these things can also add more confirmation to our trading. I call it single candle order block. That's when we are doing our smart money concept. I will try to leave a link or you check for it on my videos about this single candle order block. It's very easy to understand, so I will show them in more examples in subsequent videos. So for more clarification also, when we have through with our monthly supply zone, we are now in the weekly has changed, and then this is now on the daily. By the time the daily chart price is going to approach this weekly supply zone, we also expect the same thing to happen, whereby the low of the day will be taken out, causing a change of direction from the daily. Then the supply zone that will be left, we want price to come into it and tap and continue to sell. So therefore, we now have how many confluence? We have the monthly telling us to sell because we are using that oscillator confirmation. Then we have the weekly telling us to also do or to also sell because we have our second entry model there, our second entry model of change in direction from the weekly. Now coming to the daily, the same principle of where price take the low and then causing a change in direction. The last supply zone there will also be what we are going to be using. So that's on the daily. Then if you want to take it further, whereby maybe you want to enter the trade on the 4-hour time frame, probably when you go there, if you see an entry there, you know that our monthly supply, we have confirmed it. Our weekly, we have confirmed it with change of character. Our daily also. Now, instead of us to enter the trade directly on the daily, if you want to enter on another lower time frame, which is the 4-hour, the same number 2 entry model C applies, whereby we want the 4-hour to tap into the daily zone, give a change of character, all right, and then probably make all the type of structure. And now we are using the extreme supply zone on the 4-hour to take our trade, and then we are going to be doing what? We are going to be selling accordingly. So what this means is this: everything is selling. Monthly is selling, weekly is selling, daily is selling. So if you now see an opportunity to sell on the 4-hour also, you can be able to sell this trade with much confidence. You can even risk more to make this trade a very huge win. All right, that is what I mean by having an A++ setup with trading. Now you may ask, why don't we enter this trade on this other block, on this supply zone, before we get to this other extreme one? I will explain that when I will explain such scenario in subsequent videos, but it is more preferred to enter trade on the extreme supply, or if you are using demand. So because anyone that is at the top here, most of the time they cannot hold, except want to go or more lower time frame to confirm it whether it's going to work out or not. But it is more better to use the extreme supply or demand zone based on what you are trading. All right, thank you.